Hey folks, welcome back to Powerful Stoic Habits. Picture this. You're living in a world where everything goes your way. You're the star of the show, the kind of person everyone dreams of being with. They see you, they admire you, they can't stop thinking about you. And, let's be straight, you're not even trying to attract anyone. In fact, they're the ones trying to attract you. You are the one they dream about. You are the one they fear losing. You've got the perfect relationship, effortless connection, endless conversations, and that electric chemistry that makes the world around you disappear. You walk into a room and every head turns. They hang on your every word, crave your attention, and you're the center of their universe. Feels good, doesn't it? Just like a dream life where you're no longer trying to make them miss you, no longer begging for their attention. Instead, they're the ones chasing after you, desperate for your approval. It's like you've switched roles entirely, and now they can't get enough of you. Well, folks, this isn't just some wild fantasy. It's completely possible, but only if you start living by a powerful philosophy, masterfully crafted by the legends themselves, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus. This dream life can become your reality if you stick with me and absorb every truth we're about to dive into in this special video. But now, let's get real for a second. Where are you right now? Be honest. You're out there, desperate for their attention, trying everything in your power to make them obsessed with you. You're bending over backward, doing anything and everything to stay on their radar. You think that by constantly being there, by being nice, by sacrificing your needs and rejecting your own life, somehow you'll make them see your worth, right? That if you're good enough, available enough, they'll be losing sleep over you. Well, folks, you're wrong, dead wrong. You've been fooling yourself. You've been living in a fantasy world where you believe they care about your efforts, that they'll wake up one day and suddenly see you as the one they can't live without. But let me drop the bomb on you. They aren't thinking about you at all. They don't miss you, not for a second. And why should they? You've never given them a reason to. You've been playing a game that only exists in your head, while they've been out there living their life, barely remembering you even exist. You've handed them all your power on a silver platter, letting them treat you like a convenience while you sit there hoping for a crumb of attention. It's time to wake up and stop lying to yourself. You want to flip the script? You want to be the one they can't stop thinking about, the one they fear losing. Then you need to master something deeper, something the Stoics understood long before you were caught in this trap. How to detach, how to reclaim your power, how to make them crave your presence instead of you constantly chasing theirs. Stay with me, because what comes next will change everything. This is the moment where your destiny shifts. It's not out there somewhere waiting for you. It's in you, burning to be unleashed, and you've let it stay dormant for far too long. But today, that ends. Accept the challenge. You're going to stay with me till the end of this video because you owe this to yourself. No more distractions, no more excuses. You have to do this for you. You owe it to your future, to the person you've always wanted to become, to the hero of your dream life. The one where people are craving your attention, begging for your time, fighting for a moment in your presence. You're not here to beg. How many more times will you allow yourself to be reduced to that? Seriously, ask yourself, are you here just to beg for their attention? Because I can see you right now, constantly chasing them, begging for recognition, lowering yourself for a chance to matter in their world. It's pathetic, and it's not who you really are. So accept the challenge today. Say it with me. You will no longer beg for their attention from this moment forward. No, you have your life. You have you. And that alone is powerful. And now, you're going to show them. You're going to show them that you deserve to be chased, too. You're not some afterthought. You're not disposable. You're not the sidekick in their story. You exist. You matter. And from now on, they will have no choice but to see the real you, the one that commands attention without even trying. So, accept this challenge right now and affirm with me, you have to see my worth. Say it, feel it, believe it, and don't stop here. Go and shout it in the comments. Let the universe hear you. Let it be known that you're no longer hiding in the shadows, no longer waiting for their approval. Even if they don't see your comment, even if they never read it, you don't care. Because from now on, you no longer live for their validation. You're setting yourself up in a life where you decide your worth, where you call the shots. And that what is attractive, that what will make them see your true worth. So don't shy to take this action. Drop it in the comments. You have to see my worth. This is your moment. Your transformation begins here. So stay with me till the end. And if this video is really helping you out, hit that like button under this video. It really drives us to create more content that empowers you, pushes you, and keeps you moving forward on your journey to becoming the person you're meant to be. Now, let's dive into the 9 transformational steps that you must take to rewrite your relationship story. No, scratch that. To rewrite your entire life. These are the steps that will shift your mindset, your actions, and your energy in a way that makes people take notice. You'll stop living in the shadows and start commanding the respect and attention you deserve. Ready? Let's get started. Number 1. Stoic detachment. Now, I know where you're at. You're trying to flip the script on your relationship life. You want them to miss you, to see your worth, and it feels like the harder you try, the more they slip away. You might be lying awake at night, replaying conversations in your head, crying, wondering why they don't recognize your value. But here's the brutal truth. They don't see your worth because you don't see it yourself. Think about it. Why the hell would anyone respect your value when you're out here treating it like it doesn't matter? When you're handing it over on a platter for their approval, like it's something cheap, something they can take or leave? So stop it, right now. Cut the nonsense, because this is where your real journey begins. This is the moment you stop begging, stop chasing, and start claiming what's yours. And it all starts with Stoic detachment. Stoic detachment isn't about shutting off your emotions or pretending you don't care. It's about realizing that your happiness, your peace of mind, and your worth are not dependent on anyone else's approval. It's about understanding that nothing external, whether it's a person, a relationship, or someone's attention, can define you. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, said it perfectly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This is the core of Stoic detachment, realizing that you are in control of your own narrative, your own emotions, and your own self-worth. It means understanding that if they don't value you, if they don't see your worth, it's not because you're lacking, it's because they are blind to it. But it's not your job to make them see it. It's your job to embody it, to live it, to detach from their opinions and step into your own power. Let me tell you something. They're not going to miss you when you're constantly in their face, throwing yourself at their feet, trying to be noticed. No, they'll miss you when you stop needing their validation, when you pull back and show them that your life is moving forward with or without them. Stoic detachment creates that space for them to feel your absence, to realize that their presence in your life is not what defines your happiness. When you detach, you shift the power dynamic. You are no longer playing the role of the needy one. You are becoming the one they wonder about, the one they start questioning. Why aren't you trying anymore? Why aren't you seeking their attention? This space makes them realize that you are not something they can just take for granted, and that's when the longing begins. When you stop needing them, they start needing you. Now, I get it. Detaching isn't easy. You're emotionally invested. You've put your heart into this, and the thought of pulling back feels terrifying. But remember, detachment isn't about abandoning the relationship or pretending you don't care. It's about creating boundaries, reclaiming your emotional space, and stopping the cycle of self-sacrifice. Here's how you do it. Stop reacting. When they do something that normally gets under your skin, stop giving them that emotional reaction. Don't let their actions dictate your mood. Stay calm. Stay composed. This isn't about being cold. It's about protecting your peace. Redirect your energy. Instead of obsessing over them, start investing that energy in yourself. Pick up a new hobby, focus on your career, work on your personal growth. The more you build yourself up, the less you'll feel the need for their validation. Limit contact. I'm not saying ghost them, but pull back. Stop initiating every conversation. Stop being the first to reach out. Create some distance. Let them feel what life is like without you constantly in it. They won't feel your absence until you make space for it. Let's put this into a real-world example. Imagine you're always texting first, always making plans, always showing up, but it's clear they don't appreciate it. So, you decide to detach. You stop texting them all the time. You stop bending over backward to make things work. You focus on yourself instead. Suddenly, they notice. They start asking why you're not as available, why you're not so eager. They miss the attention. They miss the validation you were giving them without them even asking. That's the power of Stoic detachment. It's the difference between you chasing after them and them realizing they should have been chasing you all along. I won't lie to you. It's going to feel tough. At first, it might feel like you're walking away from something you've invested so much in. Your mind will play tricks on you, trying to convince you that detachment is pushing them further away. But the truth is, it's doing the opposite. It's pulling them in because they're suddenly confronted with the reality that they are not the center of your world. And let's be clear, they've been relying on that for too long. But here's the kicker. You are not doing this for them. You are doing this for you. This is your story, and you are in control. Think of Stoic detachment like a magnet. When you're constantly pushing your energy onto someone, you're overwhelming them, and they feel the need to pull away. But when you pull back, when you create space, the magnetism increases. Suddenly, they're drawn to you, wondering why they no longer have that easy access to your time and energy. This is where the real shift happens. You become magnetic, not because you're trying, but because you've reclaimed your power. So, embrace Stoic detachment. This is your moment. Stop living for their approval. Stop begging for their attention. You have nothing to prove to them. You are whole as you are, and it's time they realize that. But this is just the first step. We're just getting started. You can't move the needle with one step alone. There's more to this journey, so kill those thoughts of clicking away. Accept the challenge to transform your entire life. You are becoming someone worth chasing, and they will notice. Now, to let me know that you're standing strong with me in this transformation, drop "I stand strong" in the comments. Let me see that you've accepted this challenge to stay with me till the end, because we're only just beginning. Number 2, a tactic that made you a gem, scarcity principle. You've just embraced Stoic detachment, and now it's time to take things even further. We're flipping the script on how you're viewed in your relationships, and this second tactic is what turns you from just another option into a gem, something valuable, something rare. This is where the scarcity principle comes into play, and trust me, it's powerful. Let's face it, whether you're already in a relationship or trying to attract someone new, this concept will flip the dynamic in your favor. Think about it. Imagine having 2 things in front of you. 1, a diamond, and 2, a regular stone. They're both rocks, right? But what's the difference? One of them is rare, difficult to find, and valuable beyond measure, while the other is something you wouldn't even notice if you passed it on the street. That's what the diamond is, precious because of its scarcity. The rarer something is, the more people crave it, value it, and work to keep it. The same principle applies to relationships, whether you're in one or trying to attract someone new. The reason you've been overlooked or underappreciated isn't because you lack value. It's because you've made yourself too available, and not just physically, but emotionally and energetically. You've given too much of yourself without making them earn any of it. You've been the regular stone when you should have been the diamond. People don't chase after what's easily available. They go after what feels rare and special. If you're trying to attract someone new, this is even more critical. Maybe you haven't talked to them much, or maybe you've had a few conversations, but you're not quite sure how they feel about you yet. The scarcity principle can change everything for you. If you're constantly putting yourself out there, showing them too much too soon, they won't feel the need to chase. But if you pull back, create a little mystery, they'll start wondering about you. And when people start wondering, they start wanting. Here's what you need to understand. People do not value what they have easy access to. The more you give, the less they appreciate. So, stop making yourself so available, emotionally, mentally, and physically. Pull back. You need to stop handing over your time, energy, and attention without them earning it. This isn't about playing games. It's about recognizing your value and making sure others do too. Whether you're in a relationship or trying to attract someone new, the scarcity principle works because it triggers the fear of missing out. And when someone fears losing access to you, they start to crave your presence. If you're in a relationship, it's easy to fall into the trap of overgiving. You're always the one to initiate conversations, make plans, offer support. But that only teaches them that they don't need to put in effort. They start to assume you'll always be there, so why should they try? But if you pull back, they'll start to notice the change. They'll miss your attention, and that's when they'll start to invest more in keeping you around. For those of you trying to attract someone new, the same principle applies, but with even more weight. When you're too available or too eager, they don't feel any urgency to pursue you. But the moment you step back, become a little harder to reach, they start thinking about you more. Why? Because you've become scarce, a mystery they want to solve. Don't give them everything up front. Let them wonder. Let them work for your attention. That intrigue is what will pull them toward you. Here's how you apply the scarcity principle in your life. First, stop overgiving. Pull back. Don't always be the first to reach out. Don't always be available for every conversation or meetup. Whether you're in a relationship or trying to attract someone new, give them space to notice your absence. When you respond to their messages, don't do it immediately. Create some anticipation. This is not about playing games, but rather creating space for them to feel your worth. Second, stop giving all your emotional energy away freely. If you're in a relationship and they're not reciprocating, pull back. Let them feel the absence of your support, your attention. If you're trying to attract someone new, don't reveal everything about yourself too quickly. Keep some things to yourself, create a bit of mystery. Let them be curious about you. The less they know, the more they'll want to know. And this applies even if you haven't spoken much to them yet. If you create mystery from the start, they'll feel compelled to figure you out, and that's when the chase begins. You don't need to be distant, but you need to show them that you're not someone they can have on a whim. You are rare, you are valuable. Let them see that. Now, I get it. Pulling back might feel risky. You might be afraid that by creating distance you'll push them away. But that's not how the scarcity principle works. The moment you stop making yourself so available, they'll realize how much they relied on your presence, and that's when they'll crave you the most. If someone walks away because you set boundaries, or because you stopped overgiving, then they were never meant to stay. The right people will fight to keep you around once they realize you're not so easily obtained. Remember, people chase what they fear losing. When you're always available, you're not creating any space for them to feel that fear. But when you step back, when you become more scarce, they'll start to notice what's missing. Whether you've known them for a long time or you've just started talking, they'll feel the pull of your absence, and that's when the dynamic shifts in your favor. So, embrace the scarcity principle. Don't be afraid to pull back, to create a little mystery, to make yourself something worth craving. You are not just another option. You are the diamond. But they'll never see that if you're constantly in their reach. And remember, this is just step 2. You're building a new version of yourself that commands attention and respect. And this journey is far from over. And as the saying goes, what you think, you become. So the second affirmation of this lesson is, I am a diamond. Say it, believe it, and write it down for once and all in the comments. Let the world know that you've embraced your worth, and you're no longer just another option. You are rare, valuable, and deserving of being chased. Number 3. Master Stoic silence. You've embraced Stoic detachment, you've learned the power of the scarcity principle, and now it's time to master one of the most powerful tools at your disposal, Stoic silence. Silence is not just the absence of words, it's the presence of power. When you stop explaining, stop justifying, and stop reacting, you create a space that forces others to confront their own thoughts and actions. And trust me, that silence is deafening. Think about it. How often do you feel the need to explain yourself when someone questions you? How often do you feel compelled to react when they push your buttons? Every time you speak too soon or react too quickly, you're handing over your power. You're giving them control of the situation. But when you choose silence, that's when the tables turn. It's unsettling, it's confusing, and it forces them to fill the void with their own thoughts, doubts, and insecurities. When you master Stoic silence, you stop playing their game. Whether you're already in a relationship or trying to attract someone new, silence allows you to remain calm and in control, while they're left wondering what you're thinking. And nothing is more powerful than leaving someone questioning, leaving them wanting to know more. Let's say you're in a relationship and you've had a disagreement. The natural instinct is to argue back, to defend yourself. But what if you didn't? What if you stayed calm, composed, and simply let your silence do the talking? That silence speaks volumes. It shows that you're not going to waste your energy trying to convince them. It shows that you value your peace more than engaging in drama. And trust me, they'll notice. They'll feel the weight of that silence, and it'll force them to reconsider their own behavior. If you're trying to attract someone new, silence can work wonders. You don't need to overshare or spill everything about yourself all at once. Let them ask questions. Let them wonder. People are drawn to mystery, to what they don't know. When you're not always available to explain yourself or fill every gap with words, you become intriguing. They'll start to work harder to get your attention because they want to know more about you. Silence leaves them wanting more, and that's exactly what you want. Mastering Stoic silence doesn't mean shutting people out. It means knowing when to speak and when to let silence do the work for you. It's about choosing not to react when someone expects you to. It's about letting them fill the space with their own thoughts instead of you filling it for them. When you master this, you create an aura of strength, of self-control, and of mystery. So, embrace this silence. Let them feel its weight. Remember, you don't owe anyone an explanation for who you are or how you feel. Let your silence speak louder than words, and let it show them just how much power you hold within. Here's your third affirmation. I own my silence. Say it, feel it, and write it in the comments. Let them know that your silence isn't weakness. It's strength, and it's a strength they can't ignore. Number 4, protect your inner world. You've embraced Stoic detachment, learned the power of the scarcity principle, and mastered Stoic silence. Now it's time to protect one of your most valuable assets, your inner world. This is the fortress where your thoughts, emotions, and peace of mind reside, and not everyone deserves access to it. But how does this make them miss you? Here's the thing. When you guard your inner world, you create an impenetrable boundary that says, you don't get to disrupt my peace unless I allow it. People are drawn to those who are steady, calm, and unshaken by external chaos. When you stop giving them access to your deepest thoughts and emotions freely, they begin to crave it. They miss the parts of you that they once took for granted, because now they realize you're not easily available for emotional dumping or validation. If you're in a relationship, think about how often you've overshared your feelings, hoping they would understand you better or connect more deeply. But when they're not reciprocating, you're left feeling exposed, vulnerable, and drained. That's because you've let them into the inner sanctum of your mind without making them earn that trust. By closing those gates and pulling back, you shift the dynamic. They start to feel the absence of your emotional energy. They begin to realize they no longer have free rein over your thoughts and emotions. And that's when they start missing what they've lost. For those trying to attract someone new, this is even more crucial. People are drawn to mystery, to what they don't yet know. When you keep your inner world protected, it creates intrigue. You're not someone who shares every detail of your life on a whim. Instead, they have to work to earn a peek inside. And that journey of discovery is what keeps them hooked, what keeps them wanting more. Protecting your inner world means setting boundaries that preserve your peace. It means knowing who deserves access to your energy and who doesn't. When you become selective about who you let into that space, they'll feel the difference, and they'll miss the emotional intimacy they once had or wish they had with you. Here's your fourth affirmation. I protect my peace. Say it, believe it, and write it in the comments. Let the world know that your inner world is not for everyone, and only those who earn it will get close enough to see it. Number 5. Break their patterns. You've embraced Stoic detachment, learned the power of the scarcity principle, mastered Stoic silence, and protected your inner world. Now it's time to disrupt the game completely. Break their patterns. People get comfortable when they think they know how you'll react, what you'll say, and how you'll behave. But comfort breeds complacency, and complacency is the enemy of attraction. To make them miss you, to make them crave your presence, you have to break the patterns they've come to expect. Think about it. If you're always the one to respond quickly, always the one to initiate, always predictable, they stop appreciating it. They know you'll always be there, no matter what. But what happens when you flip the script, when you do the unexpected? That's when they start paying attention. It's human nature. People are drawn to uncertainty because it's exciting. It keeps them guessing. If you're in a relationship, this means disrupting the routine. If they're used to you always making the plans or bending to their schedule, stop. Let them take the lead for once. If they're expecting a certain reaction from you in an argument or situation, stay calm, stay silent. It's the unexpected silence that makes them think, makes them reflect on what just happened, and leaves them unsettled. For those trying to attract someone new, this is a powerful move. If they've come to expect you to be the one always reaching out, pull back. If they think they've figured you out, surprise them by doing something that challenges that assumption. They'll be left wondering who you are, what's changed, and why they no longer have you all figured out. When you break their patterns, you stop being predictable, and that unpredictability creates intrigue. They miss the certainty they once had with you, and now they're left thinking about you even more. It forces them to question their own behavior because suddenly the dynamic has shifted. Here's your fifth affirmation. I am unpredictable. Say it, feel it, and write it in the comments. Let them know that you are no longer someone they can put in a box, and that they'll never know what's coming next with you. That's how you keep them hooked. Number 6. Reflect their behavior. Back at them. Now, folks, once you've broken their patterns, it's time to take things even further. Reflect their behavior back at them. This is where you stop reacting emotionally to their actions and start showing them exactly what they've been doing. It's like holding up a mirror to their behavior, and trust me, it's one of the most powerful ways to make them realize how they've been treating you. How does this make them miss you? Simple. People often don't realize the impact of their actions until they experience it firsthand. When you reflect their behavior back at them, they suddenly find themselves on the receiving end of their own attitude, their own distance, or their own indifference. It's a wake-up call. They begin to see how dismissive or neglectful they've been, and that realization stings. And when they feel that sting, they start to miss the version of you that always gave more, that always cared, that they took for granted. If they've been distant, you become distant. If they've been giving you the cold shoulder, you do the same. Not in a way that's petty or spiteful. This isn't about playing games, but in a way that makes them feel the weight of their own actions. When they text less, you text less. When they stop putting in effort, so do you. It's about showing them what it feels like to be on the receiving end of their behavior. If you're trying to attract someone new, this is crucial. Maybe they've been hot and cold, sending mixed signals. Instead of chasing after them, reflect that energy right back. If they pull away, you pull away. When they notice that you're not running after them, they'll start to wonder why. It forces them to look at their own actions and ask themselves why they're pushing away someone who could be a great catch. Suddenly, they're the ones left thinking about you. This tactic creates balance. You're no longer overextending yourself or giving them more than what they give you. It makes them realize the value you've been bringing all along, because now they have to deal with the void they've created. That's when the regret, the longing, and the missing starts. Here's your sixth affirmation. I am your mirror. Say it, believe it, and write it in the comments. Let them feel what they've been giving you, and watch how quickly they start to miss the person they've been neglecting. Number 7. Make them invest in you. You've reflected their behavior back at them, and now it's time to raise the stakes. Make them invest in you. Here's where you stop doing all the work. Stop overgiving, and instead shift the balance so they start investing in you. Whether you're in a relationship or trying to attract someone new, people value what they have to work for. The more they invest in you, the more they'll realize your worth, and the harder they'll work to keep you. Let's be real for a second. When you're always the one giving, planning, and doing all the emotional labor, what are they contributing? Nothing. They're comfortable, maybe even complacent. Why? Because they've been getting everything without having to lift a finger. But when you pull back and create a situation where they have to start putting in effort, things change. Suddenly, they're the ones chasing. They're the ones trying to win you over, not the other way around. If you're in a relationship, this means letting them take responsibility for the relationship too. No more always being the one to initiate plans or solve problems. They need to step up. Maybe that means giving them space to plan the next date or to fix an issue instead of you swooping in to handle it all. When they start investing time, energy, and thought into your relationship, they begin to value it more. They begin to value you more because they're now emotionally and mentally invested in keeping you. For those trying to attract someone new, this is a game changer. Stop making everything easy for them. Let them work to gain your attention, your time. If they're not putting in effort, don't just hand over your energy. Make them earn your interest. Whether it's through small actions or bigger gestures, the more they invest in you, the more they'll realize just how valuable you are. People don't value what they get for free, but they will fight to keep what they had to work for. Making them invest in you shifts the power back in your hands. It shows them that you're not just another option. They need to work for your time and your heart. And when they realize how much effort it takes to keep you, they'll start to miss the ease they once had and work even harder to maintain it. Here's your 7th affirmation. I am worth the effort. Say it, feel it, and write it in the comments. Let them know that your time, energy, and love are not free. And if they want to keep you in their life, they'll have to invest. Number 8. Make them feel your absence. You've made them invest in you, but now it's time to hit them where it really hurts. Make them feel your absence. This is where the real power shift happens, and trust me, when they feel that void, they'll finally start to realize just how much you brought into their life. Whether you're already in a relationship or trying to attract someone new, making them feel your absence is one of the most powerful tools to get them thinking about you constantly. Here's the thing. People don't realize how much they value someone until that person is no longer there. They get used to your presence, your attention, your energy, and start to take it for granted. But when you pull back, when you remove yourself from their everyday routine, that's when they begin to feel it. They'll start wondering why you're not texting first, why you're not as available as you used to be, and that's when they'll miss you. If you're in a relationship, this doesn't mean vanishing without explanation. It means creating space for them to appreciate what they've been getting from you all along. Stop being the one who's always there to pick up the pieces, to fix every problem, or to keep things going. Let them feel what it's like when you're not around to hold everything together. When they start realizing that your absence leaves a gap in their life, emotionally, mentally, and even physically. They'll begin to see how much you actually mean to them. For those trying to attract someone new, this is where things really get interesting. If you've been giving too much too soon, pull back. Let them feel the absence of your attention. Don't be so quick to respond. Don't always be available for every hangout. Give them time to notice the difference between when you're around and when you're not. That absence creates space for them to reflect on what they're missing. It forces them to realize that your attention, your presence, is something they don't want to lose. When you make them feel your absence, you're showing them that you're not someone who will always be there, waiting. You're someone whose presence is valuable, and without it, their life feels a little emptier. And that's when the longing begins. Here's your 8th affirmation. You will feel my absence. Say it, believe it, and write it in the comments. Let them know that your presence isn't something they can take for granted, and when it's gone, they'll feel it. Number 9, you are the hero of your own story. And finally, folks, we arrive at the last and most powerful step. You are the hero of your own story. This is where everything changes, because no matter what happens in your relationships, whether you're trying to attract someone new or reignite a flame, you have to remember one undeniable truth. You are the main character. This is your story. You are the one who holds the power to shape your life, and the second you start living like it, everything shifts. Too often, we make the mistake of putting other people at the center of our world, hoping they'll see our worth, that they'll give us the validation we crave. But the reality is, you don't need anyone to hand you that validation. You give it to yourself. You are the hero. You are the one in control of your happiness, your success, and your worth. And when you start seeing yourself as the hero of your own life, you stop chasing, you stop begging, and you start living with purpose and confidence. If you're in a relationship, this is about reclaiming your narrative. You're not just the supporting role in someone else's story. You are the lead. And when you start living like that, when you pursue your own goals, your own passions, and your own happiness, it makes you infinitely more attractive. Why? Because people are drawn to those who are self-assured, who don't rely on anyone else to complete them. They'll see the power you hold, and they'll want to be part of your story, not the other way around. For those of you trying to attract someone new, this is where the magic happens. Stop trying to fit into their life, their story. Create a life so full, so rich with purpose, that they're compelled to chase you. When you embody the energy of someone who is fully in control of their own destiny, people notice. They want to be around someone who knows where they're going, who doesn't need anyone else to give them direction. You're the one they'll be running after. This is your life. You're not here to play small or wait for someone else to give you permission to be great. You already are. You are the hero, the center of your own universe, and it's time you started living like it. Here's your final affirmation. I am the hero of my own story. Say it, feel it, and write it in the comments. Let them see that you're no longer chasing after anyone because you're too busy living your own incredible life. When they realize that you're the hero, they'll start running after you, and that's where the real power lies. You've now taken the steps to reclaim your power and rewrite your story. Remember, you are the hero of your own life, and everything changes when you embrace that truth. If this video has empowered you, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with those who need to hear this message. Don't keep this transformation to yourself. Help others see their own worth too. Stay with me for more content that will keep pushing you to become your best self. Let's keep this journey going together. See you in the next one.